If you search for the most viewed Counter-Strike videos on YouTube, there is a classic flash animation with 120 million views, probably some YouTube shorts by the guy that makes Skibidi Toilet, and then a simple gameplay of a Counter-Strike mod on a map called ZE_The Lost World with a whopping 42 million views. So why was this video and other videos like it served to over 50 million people? Well, to answer this question, I played zombies in Counter-Strike for a year straight. I died thousands of times, led my team to victory occasionally, and interviewed the owner of the original video, Gaming Revenant, to find out how this game mode went from a mid-tier Mr. Beast level of popularity to being kneecapped by the evolving YouTube algorithm, and how this community is not only surviving, but thriving in the next generation of Counter-Strike. Gaming Revenant, also known as Gaming Reviews, started posting gaming clips to his channel on October 10th, 2010. He just did it for fun, never expecting to gain an audience, yet a few of his videos would pick up pretty quickly. A clip of Roller Coaster Tycoon reached 1 million views, a bunch of Half-Life 2 clips did well, especially the final scenes, and it was just the uncut gameplay in fantastic quality. This was during a time when home computers were rarer, so not everyone could play computer games, and even fewer had systems that could record gameplay of this quality, and being one of those to do it was very rewarding. And just a few months later, Gaming Revenant would post his first viral video that would eventually reach 27 million views on a map called ZE Minecraft, a video that had, for the time, some of the strangest and most interesting Counter-Strike gameplay people had ever seen. And it's probably even more confusing for some of you, which means it's probably a good time to explain the most viewed CS mod of all time, Zombie Escape. Now, Zombie Escape is on the surface a very simple game. All players spawn as a single team, and after a few seconds some turn into zombies. Where they would spawn changed over the years, but regardless, they're given a zombie model and lose their gun, just a knife, and when they stab a human they get a friend. Unlike Call of Duty or most competitors, zombies aren't NPCs, they are controlled by other real players. And more strangely, the goal isn't to kill the zombies. If you shoot a zombie in the head, they just go flying back. If you shoot them in the body, it just slows them down a little. The point is to push and keep the zombies at bay, rather than mow them down. Defend and fall back with your team, don't do anything stupid, and you're likely to survive, thanks to an infinite supply of ammo. However, this simple game would, over the course of 2 decades, transform and become extremely complicated, with some of the most ridiculous maps you'll ever see in Counter-Strike, which is part of why Gaming Revenant's videos blew up to millions of views. But to prove this, it's easiest to tell you the story of the game itself. In the beginning, there was Zombie Mod, that was the most fundamental core version of the mod. It existed in CS 1.6 and Counter-Strike Source, where people mostly played on the default maps, running in, shooting and killing zombies, and dying, in what was a pretty hectic free-for-all with not much structure. Zombies were actually easy to kill and ammo was limited, and people loved this game, it was huge. But eventually, servers would increasingly run custom, community-made maps, some with the prefix like the DE in Dust 2, ZM for zombie mode. Everyone would run towards a little hole or huddle all in the same room, barricading the doors or just pre-firing it and praying and just trying to survive as a team. These maps were relatively small and simple, but some would sprawl and allow for options and decision making. It all felt, I assume, very communal and bonding at times, locked down with your buddies, terrified of the opposing team getting in. And if you ask, many veteran zombie players will attest, this mode holds a special place in their hearts. But if you look at the title of the most viewed video, it's not a ZM map, it says ZE. And this is because zombie mode would undergo a pretty radical transformation and split. For example, maps like ZM Arctic Escape. Players would have to start by gunning it through the map, using elevators and boats to traverse the terrain, all with the horde of player-controlled zombies behind them. And if they made it to the very end, to the final platform, and killed all of the zombies, they would win the game. This mapping concept would shift the game mode dramatically, with some zombie maps now having this linear and progressive structure instead of sitting inside a barrel and waiting. Humans now had to defend as a team, maybe even solve a puzzle or cross a trap, and then fall back as a team to hopefully survive. For example, ZM Lila Panic, a bit of nostalgia for you veterans, a really classic ZM map, just a small arena, eventually became a zombie escape map that had a bunch of different versions with long levels, Easter eggs, and bosses, like where you would fight the pedobear. Now I should probably mention, the original zombie mod where you bunker in didn't die off. It was also a huge game that has its own history. And there are tons of other zombie mods like Biohazard and Zombie Plague, or Zombie Riot, also known as Zombie Horde, another mod that went massively viral. Zombie Riot is more like Call of Duty with zombies and bosses controlled by NPCs. This gameplay, published by Jandodal in 2009, got 24 million views. But there's even more. TF2 has Zombie Escape, Gmod has Zombie Survival with a whole building system, which also appears in CS 1.6. There's a lot of zombie mods. So here is the central thread, okay? Zombie Escape in particular became enormous and has since sustained itself for nearly 2 decades, thanks in part to the subject of our video. And on March 2nd, 2011, Gaming Revenant uploaded his first Zombie Escape gameplay to YouTube on a map called ZEIM Legend. He and his team ran through dark corridors, trudged together through the water, and eventually made it to the final defense, where they won. He also uploaded classics like ZE Mako, probably the most famous zombie escape map that had multiple levels, items you could use, and a boss with crazy attacks that for the time was an insane mapping achievement. Mako has its own huge history that I don't know and I can't fit it in this video. There was also Pirates of the Caribbean, an absolute classic, Aperture Science, a really cool map based on Portal, and Jurassic Park Escape that would eventually reach 1 million views. For veterans of the game, all of these are immediately recognizable. But it wasn't until March 21st, 2011 that Revenant uploaded his gameplay of ZE Minecraft, his first mega viral video with 27 million views.
I think it was about a year after I uploaded it, I got an email from YouTube, which back at the time, like for me, YouTube was really just a hobby, but they had a link of that video all the way at the bottom, and so by the time that I went through the email, I'm like, hey, wait, that's the link of my video. And I guess the last time that I saw it, maybe I got 200 views on it, and then when I opened it, it was like, I remember it was like 2.7 million views.
Oh my god.
And I couldn't believe it, and for years I never really understood why, except for that obviously the mode got more and more popular.
Revenant told me that at one point in the past, there were dozens of full 64-player servers all playing Zombie Escape. A mod that you might not have even heard of until today was one of Counter-Strike's dominant game modes, which could in theory explain why his videos blew up. They are just catching the free views. However, we noticed something else, what we call the crossover effect. This Minecraft gameplay was a juxtaposition of Counter-Strike and Minecraft, pretty evocative, especially for kids who might have gotten a little clickbaited thinking there were guns in Minecraft or vice versa, a strategy that he repeated to great success. And that was only part of the picture. There was something else in the video that we noticed. With the modern YouTube player, we can see which sections are most viewed. This wasn't always a feature, and there's a huge bump at minute 7. He stabs a guy, but then at the 8-minute mark, one of the zombies jumps off the bridge and onto the human team below in a boat, killing just a few people, but starting a chain that kills the entire team in one swoop. This is a motif, a common experience in Counter-Strike Zombies called chain knifing, that I have been the perpetrator and victim of many times. Because of the mechanics of the mode, Zombie Escape is this insane game where one person can completely change the outcome of the match. Being the guy that kills the entire enemy team is just a crazy feeling, and Gaming Revenant displayed that to an audience of millions. These videos created the stakes, the allure of the game mode. On maps that one could never imagine in Counter-Strike, one player can destroy and create chaos, or lead one's team to victory. However, in the years after this viral video, things were far from easy for our protagonist. He continued posting videos for various games, racing games, MMOs, the occasional zombies gameplay, but unfortunately, around 2016, his views were lower than ever. Most videos were getting under 5,000 views, and things were looking pretty grim. But Revenant didn't go down without a fight, and started changing up his strategy, showcasing zombie escape in the new Counter-Strike Global Offensive, editing and adding subtitles and flair to his clips. He even started posting fully edited gaming reviews that did significantly better than his average videos at the time, but he could never get consistent views. What saved Gaming Revenant's channel was totally unexpected. It was zombie escape again, and not in the new flashy CSGO that just released with advanced graphics, but in the eldest Counter-Strike. And on August 2nd and 17th, 2016, Revenant would upload his next mega viral videos, the latter reaching an astonishing 40 million views, of zombie escape in CS 1.6. This game would end up generating hundreds of millions of views for Revenant and other YouTubers like Dark Professional. Every single video he posted of zombie escape in CS 1.6 would go viral, and the difference was kind of ridiculous. He could upload 4 different videos, same level of gameplay. The CSGO videos would get a few thousand views, and the original CS would get millions. Not right away, of course, otherwise Revenant would have instantly caught on, but over the course of months and years. So why did this happen? Well, while Zombie Escape got popular in Counter-Strike Source, released well after CS 1.6, it eventually still blew up on the older platform, and I have a few speculations as to why. Number 1, CS 1.6 had some insane features like special grenades that would freeze zombies and custom weapons that weren't as common in other communities. And number 2, the older title was way easier to run and seemed to be really popular outside of the United States, in Europe, Turkey, and parts of the Middle East, especially Turkey, where this famous voice clip would play. Which means like, come on in English or something. Other YouTubers like Dark Professional ran servers out of Turkey and also got millions upon millions of views. Now, to be honest with you, CS 1.6 has its own huge history that I am not well versed in, with hundreds if not thousands of maps. This game is also likely what inspired Counter-Strike Nexon. You probably saw a video about it this year where all the zombies are NPCs and the weapons have like stats and levels and stuff, as well as CS Online that started before and had a really popular zombie mode scene. There was way too much research to talk about it confidently in this video, but here's the bottom line. One huge reason why Gaming Revenant succeeded on YouTube was that he showcased and posted consistently for this older title. And throughout 2016 and into 2017, Gaming Revenant is planting huge seeds. Videos that would eventually get millions of views. And by March of 2017, Gaming Revenant hit 50,000 subscribers. This is back when his name was still Gaming Reviews, and he does this Q&A where he basically explains the whole reason he started making content.
I was just intrigued by the idea of the fact that you could watch videos on YouTube from games that you didn't have, as if you were playing the game. So I was very interested about the highest possible quality, the most optimized recording software, just being able to play the games on a relatively good level and just show them off to the world.
And this worked. Remember, this is back when globally no one had beefy gaming PCs. Now every middle schooler is drooling at the thought of a 4090, but the results speak for themselves. And Revenant had a massive impact on Counter-Strike as a whole.
This kind of video was unreal to see the response from people. It goes as far as seeing people say that this is the very first video they ever saw of Counter-Strike Source.
Gaming Revenant was dominant in CS 1.6 and Counter-Strike Source, and at the time there was only one platform left to conquer: CSGO. See, CSGO, like CS2 nowadays, was not great for mod players on release. The plugins that make the mod possible and the maps they played weren't ready because the game was new. and no one knew what they were doing. They needed a lot of time, and it took years for the game mode to reach peak performance. See, by this point, Zombie Escape had become so complicated with huge, sprawling maps that could last for hours and were extremely difficult to beat. The game mode had just come a very long way. Specifically, two major mechanics that emerged that now define the game mode were just not easy to implement in CSGO. The first is bosses. Mappers have gotten so good at making these huge enemies you have to defeat as a team, dumping bullets into stuff you wouldn't even think existed in Counter-Strike. One of the most famous bosses are the ones in ZE Gris and ZE Grau. That is just insane and not actually that hard. It's pretty fun. But there's another mechanic called lasers, where you have to dodge and weave lasers, avoiding attacks that will kill you in one hit sometimes. It's kind of like Toho if you've ever played that, and this became a huge phenomenon that was really hard and deserves a whole video of its own. But eventually, CSGO caught up, ported over a bunch of these maps, and was starting to gain its own audience. YouTubers like Axanek started seeing major success showcasing these maps, and in 2018, Gaming Revenant uploaded some of his last mega viral videos in CSGO. One on ZE Bathroom, a classic, and ZE Best Korea, where you dodge between North Korean soldiers, fight a giant baby, and enter Kim Jong-un's anus. Who never thought I would say that. And then in 2019, Gaming Revenant uploaded his last mega viral video that would receive 42 million views in the original Counter-Strike, filled with like moving dinosaurs in a helicopter and this awesome custom weapon. But there's nothing especially interesting about this video, the only real uptick being the end of the first round, people just skipping to the next match. What I did find was all the people in the comments sharing their nostalgia and gratitude for Gaming Revenant, who was, by their account, a major part of their childhood. Not only did he show literally millions of players how to play the game, but he introduced a fledgling Counter-Strike audience to a completely different way to enjoy their favorite title. And he was arguably one of the biggest aspects of Counter-Strike's history. There aren't many videos or events with more views than Zombie Escape, and I have a feeling that all of his viewers that remembered him came back to relive a memory and visit an old friend. And for that, we thank him. If you want to play Zombie Escape, I highly recommend CS2 since most of you play and it's sick. Counter-Strike Source also has servers as well as CS.1.6 you can find through the browser. And CSGO is dead. If you enjoyed this, you'll enjoy my Counter-Strike stories like this video about cheating and p-hop. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye. You're already gone. Oh my god.